After my little summer hiatus off TikTok, I had mentioned to you that my mental health was just not in a good place this spring/summer. And now that I've shared some of the things that has happened throughout our IVF journey and fertility journey here on TikTok, I think you can probably understand why. And I just shared the experience of what happened with the NHS IVF. And I have to tell you, and I don't know, maybe this needs a trigger warning, I've never been the type of person to just be so low and so down and so dark to not... I've never been somebody to have dark thoughts that I would have ever taken action on. But this was the closest that I ever got to in my life. And I didn't feel so down because of the idea of not being a mom. What broke me this summer was the NHS IVF part, like finding out we had to pay for it out of pocket. I think we're still waiting on a bill that I am going to be billed for the consultation that we had. But you know when you're just trying so hard and you're like spinning your wheels and you're like doing your best in your day-to-day to like be a good person, pay your taxes, not trying to fudge anything, like being a good person and just doing the right thing as much as you can. And I just sat here, I was working, and after I found out I'd have to pay for everything, I just kind of was like, what is the point of me? Like, what is the point of trying? What's the point of trying to do well in business? What is the point in, trying to maintain a good relationship with my husband during this process? Because we're just being kicked left, right, and center. And it just made me feel like giving up. And so this was like May of 2023. And I was sat here, I needed my hemoglobin to raise. I couldn't get started with any more treatment. And it just was really dangerous for me to be sat at home with my own thoughts and just kind of left to my own devices. And so when I had said, I should probably insert that clip in this video, but I'd come back on TikTok at the end of summer and I said, I've had the busiest summer. I was working at 2 of my clients. If you don't know, I used to be a hairstylist and my hair school taught like all beauty things and stuff. But I was working 4 days a week plus doing all of my client work within my own business. And that was purely because I did not feel safe in leaving myself at home on my own, because I think someone can only be kicked so many times when they're down before they just throw in the towel. And so I don't know what's the point in telling you this, to be completely honest. It hasn't been a bed of roses. It hasn't been easy. And I think one of the biggest things that I've had to realize on this journey is that not only did my body need the work, but like my mind needed the work just as much. And I'm so grateful for going and working at my clients' salons, because I came into contact with so many other women who had been through IVF and like just this whole experience of roadblocks every which way that they looked. And it was so encouraging. Like one girl, oh, it's making me cry. This one girl, like she was getting waxed because she was about to go into labor, and we got talking, and she's just like, can I give you a hug? And if you know me, I'm not a hugger. And yeah, she just gave me a hug, and I was just like, ah, because I think there's sometimes people that don't, if they haven't gone through this, they can't understand it. And I think the extra added level of being an immigrant in this process as well, having to do it out of country because you can't get looked at in country. Like, I mean, we could, but the whole aspect of what most people are paying for their fertility treatment, I'm already paying for the NHS, right? And so if you could imagine paying for fertility treatment out of pocket and then also be paying for your healthcare, but then you can't use that. Like, it's been really financially draining. And yeah, I feel like this summer was like the biggest blessing in disguise, because I'm glad that I took action and didn't sit here all day, because it was not good. But then equally getting to talk with so many women that have been through this process. And there was one lady where it did not work out well for her at all. And I was like, and like her comments were like, she feels like there's so much support systems in place for if it works out, but there's nothing in place for when it doesn't work out. And she just wanted me to be mindful of that, but I kind of felt like she was projecting her negative experience on me. But once you got past that, what she was saying was right, that like you have to ensure that you've got certain like systems in place to safeguard your mental health through this, because it is a freaking wild ride.